Today we're going to show you how to set up your CCL6T 70 volt 6-inch commercial ceiling speakers. There are 4 speakers included in your box, and depending on if you got the speakers in black or the color white, the setup is exactly the same. Now because these are 70 volt speakers, let me quickly explain how 70 volt systems work. 70 volt amps allow you to run large amounts of speakers at a fixed and constant wattage off of 1 amp. So you could run over 100 speakers off of 1 amp if you match the watts being drawn by the speakers to the wattage of the amp. We can do that by tapping each speaker to a specific watt amount. So for example, if my amp has 100 watts, I could tap each speaker at 5 watts, giving me the ability to use 20 speakers. If you want to learn more about 70 volt technology, check out our video on what is 70 volt. So now to install these speakers into your ceiling tiles or your sheetrock ceiling, you're going to take the included paper cutout guide and place it on the area where you want to install your speaker. Then using a blade, you're going to cut out a hole following the cutout guide. You can even use a piece of tape to hold down your cutout guide to make it easier to cut out your hole. Now once you've finished cutting your hole in your sheetrock ceiling or in your ceiling tile, you can place your speaker into that hole. Just be sure to push up the spring retainers on each side of your speaker to fit the speaker through the hole, and then let them go to hold the speaker in place. Now when you are wiring your speakers with speaker wire, you'll always want to make sure to connect the black speaker wire to the negative or common terminal on your speaker and amp. And for your positive wire, you have 3 different tapping options of 10 watts, 5 watts, and 2.5 watts for full customization of the sound for any space where these speakers may be installed. For example, if we wanted to set up 10 of these speakers using 50 watts provided from our amp, we would want to use the 5 watt tap with the positive end of your speaker wire. And then once you have your speakers all wired up, you can run the rest of the speaker wire through your wall and ceiling to connect it to your 70 volt amp. Now you can set up multiple of these speakers through parallel wiring, which is just daisy chaining each speaker by connecting the positive and negative terminals through speaker wire.
So to show you guys how to parallel wire your speakers, I have all 4 of my CCL6Ts right in front of me here, along with some speaker wire to chain them all together and send to our 70 volt amp. So I'm going to start with the speaker all the way at the end over here. I'm going to take my speaker wire and plug the negative end into the negative common terminal here on our speaker. Then I'm going to take the positive end and plug it into any tap terminal on the speaker. Today we'll use the 5 watt tap. So then we just take the other end of that speaker wire and plug it into the same terminals on our next speaker, with the negative going into the negative terminal and the positive going to the 5 watt tap. So now to connect these 2 speakers to the following speaker, I'm going to take another speaker wire. I'm going to take the negative end and plug it into the negative terminal from our last speaker. Then I'm going to do the same exact thing with the positive wire going to the 5 watt terminal. Then I'll take the other end and plug it into the same terminals on the following speaker. So we can repeat this process all the way down our speaker chain till we get to the last speaker to connect to our amplifier. So to connect my chain of speakers to the amplifier, I'm going to take 1 more speaker wire. I'm going to plug my negative wire into the common terminal and my positive wire into the 5 watt terminal on my last speaker. Then I'm going to take the other end and plug it into either one of the available zones on my 70 volt amp or into the direct outputs of my amp. Today I'll use the direct outputs with my positive wire going into the positive 70 volt terminal and the negative wire going into the common terminal. And that's all there is to parallel wiring our speakers to our 70 volt amplifier.
So hopefully this video showed you how easy it is to set up your CCL6T 70 volt 6-inch commercial ceiling speakers. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support tech team through phone or email. We'll see you guys in the next one.